Okay, so now that we have Joomla completely cleared out, as you can see, everything is completely gone. We have no modules in here, no menus, no articles. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to recreate new categories, articles, and menus, and place them in newly created and newly positioned modules. Now, what I did here is I set up, this right here is really a text version of my sitemap. These are the articles that I want to create, okay? And whatever flowchart or drawing or whatever visual sitemap that you created, since you have that, it's going to be really easy to just come up with your list of articles, or in other words, the list of your web pages, okay? Articles aren't exactly web pages. Articles are chunks of content. It's possible to have a web page with multiple articles on it. Okay. However, in this particular situation right here, in this first example for this week, it's okay to kind of think of the articles that I'm creating simply as web pages. Okay. So we're going to have, each one of these is going to be a page, and then each one of these we're going to need a menu item. In other words, a navigation link to click on to get us to that page. Okay. Now, we actually put our articles in categories, and it's an easier way to manage content to have our articles separated into various categories. For example, I'm making a site about trees, and so I'm going to have, types of trees as a category. Okay, and within that category, I'm going to have deciduous and coniferous trees. Okay, within these, I want to have, maple, oak tree, willow tree, and all that. Now, the reason why it's really nice to set it up like this is because what if you want a page that just calls up all of your deciduous tree articles? You can just say, give me everything from that category, and you can get everything from that category. Let's say you want to have a slider. Like, see this slider here? This slider is showing latest news, as in every single article that's recently been written. Okay, and that's all of these articles. Okay, so I'm just saying, give us all the weekly articles right here, and it's just an example to show you a slider. Okay, and so it's a nice way to organize your content. Okay, so what I have here is a list of the articles that I need to create. Okay, I want to have an About Trees page. Of course, I'm going to have a home page. That almost goes without saying, but we're going to put it up there anyway. We're not going to create an article for the home page. It's just going to be default on there. But just so you know, it's noted. I want an About Trees page. I want a page, an article on a page that describes what deciduous trees are. Okay? And that's going to be in the type of trees category. And then I want sub-menus and sub-articles, okay, called child articles that are going to be about various deciduous trees. And then, of course, the same for coniferous. And then I'm going to have a resources page just so that we can throw some links on there, okay? So those are my articles, okay? My categories I have set up here. I obviously want some kind of an about category where I can put about the site, about me, anything like that. Any articles can go in there. Types of trees, okay, that's going to be a category. Now, within that category, deciduous and coniferous trees are going to be child categories of that category, because types of trees is kind of the over category. Within that, we're going to have deciduous trees and coniferous trees. They're not going to be, these are also going to be categories though, because obviously I'm going to have, maple, oak, and willow tree as deciduous trees, and ponderosa, cedar, and fir as coniferous trees. So I have a main category here, okay, and then I have these categories here, which will be child categories of this category. Don't worry, I'll start creating categories in a minute, and this will make sense. I'm just explaining to you that I have typed out a map here of what I want to do with this site, and I have also included all of my content here, okay? Now, where did I get all this content, right? This is all this Wikipedia. It doesn't matter what content that you use, okay? Some of you have a specific purpose for your website. I spoke with some of you who might be making like pages about, a specific band or a hobby or their photography or their artwork or their portfolio or whatever it is that you do that you want to share with the world. In this case, I made a site about trees, and I'm going to be, all I did is, notice how it says according to Wikipedia right here. I just have, chunks of content to cut and paste for each article. Here's one about trees, here's an article about deciduous trees, there's my, there's about maple, oak tree, the weeping willow. I got them divided up by lines here so it's easier to read. I'm going to go into the coniferous and various coniferous trees, and then I've got some resource links down at the bottom. So it's all set up ahead of time so I can just cut and paste and keep on going. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. That doesn't need to be there. So that you can follow along, but you don't have to type all this out yourself. You can pick out whatever you want for content, or you can use lorem ipsum, okay, which is some Latin text. Notice that I put a piece of it right here. Here's some lorem ipsum text to populate your site. You can really just grab this and start filling it up with Latin if you want to. It's fine. You're gonna have to format it eventually, like make some of it a header, like H1, H2, H3, bold, italics, emphasize, make some of it links and all that. But this isn't a writing class, and you don't have to type out page after page after page of content, okay? So depending on your site, that's going to be different. In my case, I'm making a site about trees based off information from Wikipedia. Nice and easy. So I'm just going to cut and paste all of my content as I go. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is create some categories, right? And let's look at my categories. I want to have an about category, okay? Now, there's two ways to do this. You can go up to Content, Category Manager, Add New Category. Or you can just click on the Category Manager right here, and it takes you into the category manager. But and you just hit this plus symbol right here that says new. Either way, okay, there's always several ways to do everything in most software these days, right? There just is. Photoshop, you can do like one thing 20 different ways. Okay, so anyway, back to the task at hand. So I'm going to create an about category, okay? About. Now, see how it says parent right here? Remember I was talking about parent and child categories? Okay, this case we want no parent, okay? We want this to be the parent. This is the, this category is independent in itself, and the settings for this category will apply to this category. If you created child categories and made about a parent, all those categories would inherit all of the properties of this category, okay? So in this case though, no parent. Alright, and you don't actually have to have a description right here of this category. You can put something in if you want to, and then you can decide whether or not you want that visible when you're actually showing group together categories and whatnot. But for now, keep it blank. Or at least I'm going to. You don't need to. You can go ahead and, if you have like this is the page about me, or if you have something specific that you're doing. The thing is that I'm being kind of vague here because everyone's going to have a different approach to how they want their website to be. Okay, but if you want to follow along exactly, just leave this blank. It's no big thing. Now what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to hit save, just to show you what happens. Okay, so I'm hitting save, and it's just going to say, give me a blue stripe right here if everything went okay, and it's going to say category successfully saved. Now this category is now included in your list of categories, okay? But notice you can't access anything up here yet. It's because you're still inside this category. You can still make changes. And the two options over here are save and close or save and new, okay? Or save as a copy, but we're not going to do that. The two options that we can be working with right now are save and close and save as and new. If I hit save and close, it's going to take me back to the category manager with the list of categories that we have. In this case, only one category, about. There we go, about. Okay? Now I'm going to click back in there again, get right back where we were, and show you that the other option, instead of save and close, is save and new. And that's actually, it's a pretty big time saver if you're creating a whole bunch of articles. And so I just hit save and new, and of course it's saved the about category, and it's giving me a spot to create a new category. And if we look over here, my next category is going to be called types of trees. Alright, so types of trees. Maybe I could have a better name than that, but anyway, types of trees. Again, no parent, okay? Types of trees is a independent category. It is the parent. Save and new. Okay, nice and easy, right? No problem. What's the next? Well, that's loading on my warp speed internet there. I'm going to go ahead and... deciduous is the next one. Okay. So, the next category is deciduous. But deciduous is a type of tree. So I want to have category for types of trees, which I just created, and then subcategories below that, or child categories, okay, of deciduous and coniferous. Okay, so I'm going to make types of trees the parent, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and hit save and new. All right, and the next one that we have on here is coniferous. All right, coniferous. And I'm going to go ahead and enter in coniferous again, make that types of trees. And I'm just going to hit save this time. Okay, the reason I'm hitting save is because I want my parent list to update so you can see what's happening. Here's my parent list, right? And look at that. We have about, types of trees, and then below that, deciduous trees. Oh, it's supposed to show me, oh, of course. Anyway, you notice how this is has 2 dashes? It's showing that deciduous is underneath this one. So this is the parent and this is the child. Okay, I'm actually going to have to do save and new again to show you what I was about to show you. But wasn't quite able to. Let's see here. The next one is gallery. I'm going to copy that. Okay, now notice under parent here. There we go. That's what I wanted to show you. So I have about, types of trees, and then underneath that, deciduous and coniferous. Now you can tell this is the parent category, and these are child categories underneath it, okay? Now this doesn't really matter that much right now, but it's going to later on. For example, if I want to have a category blog that shows all of the different types of trees, then I just link it up to the types of trees, and then all of the different ones will be under there. Things like that. It's just, remember, this is a content management system. So being aware of how you categorize everything makes your content much easier to work with. Now, right now, of course, it's just silly. Like, it's so easy to work with for different categories. But what happens when you have, 100 categories? Or even 20 categories with several subcategories off of them, and then several articles for each one of those categories. Like, it just automatically, it gets complicated. So being really aware of how you are categorizing everything, and there's no really right or wrong way to do it. In my case, I chose to do a site about trees, and luckily trees are already categorized, right? You have, your coniferous and your deciduous trees and the various types of trees in those categories, and so automatically I can just follow that. And so this is a pretty good, I think trees is a good way to it's a good demo site. Okay, so what did we just create? We created our types of trees. I'm going to go ahead and create a gallery now. Okay, now, gallery. There's a lot of different ways to create galleries, and we'll get to that in a few weeks. So, you can create actual articles themselves, as you can create actual pages and embed galleries. There's a lot of different functions. It depends on a million different things, really. The type of extensions, what you're looking for, the type of experience you want your viewer to have. But I'm just creating a spot for galleries right now because I know that later on I'm going to want, galleries, and so I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in there right now. And then I'm going to hit no parent, save and new. And the last one here is resources, and I'm just going to put, I got some links here to some New York Times articles about trees and about bark beetles. I think people in Montana know a lot about bark beetles, that's for sure. Okay, anyway, and we're going to throw in our resources. Resources, no parent, okay? And save and close. Now we have a whole bunch of categories. And this is going to make our content much easier to manage because every article that we create, we are going to assign these different categories. So I'm going to have at least 3 different types of trees that are going to go in the deciduous category. Okay? And so if I wanted to manage this content and say, give me all the types of trees, it's going to give me every article for all the that are in the coniferous and the deciduous categories. Or I can say, just give me the deciduous, and it's going to give you all the articles that you put inside the deciduous, and those articles are going to be about different deciduous trees. Okay, and so that's a nice way to manage content. Now, you see how these are pushed over like that? That's to let you know that these are subcategories within this main parent category here. Okay, so you get like a visual representation of what's going on here too. Not to mention the fact, if I was to click on this and end up back here, you can see right here that under the parent, under the details list here for parent, it says that it's types of trees. Okay, let's see what else. The alias here, whatever you can go ahead. Oh yeah, tooltips. Go ahead and hover over everything you see in here, and there's a nice long description about what's going on with your aliases here. You can leave those blank, and it'll just generate one for you based off of your name, and that's just a part of the URL. Okay. So the reason why I'm showing you that is if you do something like spell deciduous wrong, it's going to generate an alias based off your misspelling. So if you come back here to edit stuff, then go ahead and just delete everything that's in this space, okay? And then when you click save, it's going to go ahead and update all that for you. Now, you can always go back and edit whatever you want to. See how it made the alias deciduous? Okay, I just wanted to show you that real quick, just because in case, I spell things wrong sometimes, So anyway, where can we go from here? I'm going to do save and close. And, okay, now, we have our list of categories. You can go back by either clicking on the hyperlink here, or clicking right here and editing it. Okay, and go back and edit these things however you want to. Change the words. Maybe types of trees is too long, and I just wanted to say something else. So you can always go back and edit anything that you need to. So here we go. We have our categories, and within these categories, we are going to place articles. And the articles that we create, for now, we're going to make each one a single web page. Okay, and I'm going to do that in the next video.